Hello, and welcome once again to the Kate and Eric Show weekly podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to all the new listeners, and thank you to the ones that listen all the time. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It really, really means a lot. So today we're back to normal, back to the crap in the world. Last week was great. I loved doing the Declaration of Independence. It was really fun to do that one. But today, unfortunately, we get to talk about the crap that is going on here in the world. Actually, this episode's pretty good. This is all good stuff, though. If you're a liberal and you're a Democrat, probably not so good for you. But anyway, yeah, thank you. We'll get into that. But yes, thank you so much for listening. As always, please like and rate, subscribe, share, whatever it is that you need to do to keep this podcast going. I'll continue to pump out episodes, but without you, it would not be possible to get this message out. So let's keep that going. And then all the socials that I am on, or I have a Facebook page, the Kate and Eric Show Facebook page, and then I'm on Twitter at the Kate and Eric Show, and then True Social as well at the Kate and Eric Show. And then also the new thing, I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, is that I am doing TikTok videos now. I never thought I'd be doing TikToks. My wife got me watching TikToks. Just, you just scroll and you watch a bunch of nonsense, and it's fun. Mostly now it's all political and baseball stuff that's on my TikTok that ever comes up. That's all I watch. That's all I listen to. So I am doing TikTok videos, and I have launched a new series called Common Sense Theater. Nice little play on Masterpiece Theater of a while ago. So go to, if you are on TikTok, go check that out. I do also upload the videos that I do on my Twitter, so go check that out. That's really fun to do. I dressed all up, and I got a nice three-piece suit. I got the tie, white shirt, vest, jacket, just all of it, and I do little short videos of some common sense. So please check that out. The Kate and Eric Show on Twitter, and then TikTok. So it's just fun. And then I'm also doing a nice series of, and I explained this all in one of my TikTok videos, I'm just kind of tired of the negativity that's perpetrated about the United States. The United States is just awful. It's mean. It's just so mean. It's the United States. It's just a mean, awful country. Everybody's just racist and blah, 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 blah. So I'm just kind of tired of hearing that. So I do some positive things about the United States. I'm right now currently doing just the landscape, because I believe the United States, not only in people, but land, geography, climate, just all of it, it is probably the most diverse country on the planet. I can't think of another country that has all the different variations of climate, geography, landscape, geology, we've got down, here in the South, not so much in Dallas, it's not really sort of tropical, but Houston subtropical, Florida are obviously tropical, Hawaii is tropical, and then you go all the way up to Alaska. The Rocky Mountains is beautiful, majestic mountains. We've got the middle of the country with plains, and just amazing. And then you've got the big forests as well on the West Coast, East Coast, up at the Appalachians Mountains. I think it's just a beautiful country. I've been on one side of the country to the other, seen a lot of strange stuff, but if you know what that's from, more power to you. We can be friends. But yeah, I've lived in Utah, I've lived in Minnesota, obviously I live here in Texas, I've lived in Virginia, Maryland, Connecticut. Where else have I lived? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the whole roundabout thing. Anyway, I've seen a lot of beautiful, beautiful parts of this country. I think America is great. We have a lot of good things. I mean, I'm not obviously naive to think that America is perfect. You know, our founders weren't perfect. We're not perfect today. President of the United States, Mr. Joe Biden is certainly not perfect. Neither is freaking family. So we're not perfect. I believe the principles and the ideas that the country was founded upon are things that we work towards, to have equal rights for everyone, no matter who you are, what you believe in. You have the right to free speech, freedom of religion, right to defend yourself, and I'll go into some more of those amazing Supreme Court rulings here in a little bit. But yeah, so I've launched that, and I post pictures. I post some fun music with the pictures. Right now, I've done the whole West Coast, just some pictures from different states, from California to Alaska, Hawaii and Alaska. I did it in their own video, but the whole West Coast, California, all the way up to Washington, the Rocky Mountains. I've done, it's really cool. Just some nice positive stuff. So go check that out on TikTok. And then, of course, my favorite, go check out my Common Sense Theater, where I discuss things that should be common sense. So yeah, go check that out. It's really fun. I post about one of those about a day. Not sure if I'll get one in tonight because I'm doing this instead. But anyway, I'll probably get more of those TikToks out. So go check that out. The Caden Eric Show on TikTok and Twitter, True Social, and then, of course, my Facebook page, The Caden Eric Show. So, some housekeeping. Got to do all that. It was just fun to get into that. So, of course, we start off with some sports here. And it's the MLB All-Star break this week. We had the Home Run Derby Monday, and the All-Star game was yesterday. We had Vladimir Guerrero Jr. win the Home Run Derby. He beat Randy Arozarena. I think it was 20 in the final round. There it was 25-23. Unfortunately, Randy Arozarena could not just get 2 more home runs to at least tie, but it's good for him, good for Vlad. And if you are a sports fan, it was amazing to watch. It was really super cool. Hopefully, you got a chance to watch it. I'm a humongous baseball fan, so of course I had to watch that, and then I watched the All-Star game for the most part. There's kind of some funny thing that happened there, because it was in Seattle, Washington, and they don't like the Astros up there very much, probably because we're in the same division, and then we knocked them out of the playoffs last year. 3-0, so we swept them, along with sweeping the Yankees, which was fantastic. They wanted Houston. They got Houston. So yeah, it was just great. But the fans did not like, because the Astros. There was a few Astros there. Kyle Tucker and Jordan Alvarez that were part of the Astros team, or the Astros. Well, of course they're part of the All-Star team. We had the coaching staff from the Astros were the manager, Dusty Baker, and then all the rest of them were the managing team. But it was just fun to see as Kyle Tucker and Jordan Alvarez was announced, the stadium booed them. So they're still salty, I guess. They're still salty because the Game 3 for that series between the Astros and Seattle went to 18 innings last year. And it was decided by a Jeremy Pena home run, I believe, in the top of the 18th that finally ended that game. So it was 1-0. Anyway, so it's just some fun things there. Great atmosphere there up in Seattle. Wish I could have gone, but did not, unfortunately. Yes, the All-Star game next year will be here in Dallas, Texas, though. Home of the Rangers, so maybe I can go to that one, and we'll post some pictures, and it'll be fun. But if you're not a baseball fan, sorry for this last few minutes. It's probably boring, but baseball's the best. There, I said it. All right, so let's get into this, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? So we had the lovely Biden. He's currently visiting England. and Prince Charles. He also met with the Prime Minister. And it's just really sad and pathetic that he, just all the videos, I'm not going to play any clips of that because it's all video, there's not really audio. But he just was being led around. He didn't know where it was going. Everybody had to direct him, point, hey, stupid, you go over there. Sure, they weren't audibly saying that, but he probably wouldn't hear it anyway. He's just, walking around, where do I go now? Just really sad and pathetic. The King Charles had to lead him around, and he was just, when are we going to get rid of him? I've had it. So just sad, kind of sad and pathetic that's the leader of the country. 81 million votes is this guy. So that was just great. Oh yeah, and then the King Charles started the end of the world clock, apparently. So I guess we got 6 years, according to him, because of this stupid climate change nonsense and global warming, whatever they want to call it. I notice how they shifted from global warming to climate change, because no matter what the climate does, they can just say climate change. So that'll be a future episode, I think. Maybe next week I'll do all the times they said the world was ending, and it did not. So, yeah. I don't understand why. I understand why, because it's all about money and power. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the environment and everything to do with money and power. So we'll get into that next time. So, Supreme Court. Congratulations to the Supreme Court, everybody. Yeah. Did some great things over this last couple of weeks here. Just amazing. We also had a nice federal judge smack Biden in the face. The Biden administration, not literally, unfortunately. That would have been great as well. But a federal judge and appointed, guess who he was appointed by? Oh yeah, Mr. Mean Tweets. Mr. Mean Twitter. So he appointed that. It was just great. So the federal judge, what he did is he rejected the Justice Department's request to pause order limiting Biden administration's contact with social media companies, because it has been proven that the three-letter agencies and the government went to the social media companies to censor what was being said across social media. And they lied to us. It's been proven that everything's come out that they lied. So a federal judge on the 4th of July, actually, how appropriate was that? He came out and said, nope, you can't do that. So just great. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So good. We still have free speech. And the liberals are pissed. I don't know, because they can't censor conservatives anymore. So there was that. And Supreme Court decisions, everybody. What they did was amazing too. First one, affirmative action. So that has been around for a while, and they did not like that it got overturned, because affirmative action says that colleges and other employers can admit you or hire you based upon your race. So I don't know what the heck that has to do with being admitted to colleges or jobs, but it apparently does. So the Supreme Court tore down, I like to use that word, tore down, that's good. That's a good way to describe it, right? They tore down, overruled, I guess is more the appropriate legal term. But in a 6-3 decision, the court ruled that race-conscious admissions policies at Harvard, a private institution, the University of North Carolina, a public one, were unlawful. Because what had happened is there were some Asian students that wanted to go to Harvard and couldn't because they had reached their Asian number of student limit. And they couldn't admit anymore because affirmative action says, oh, we can't admit anymore, because it's all about your race. It shouldn't matter. It should not matter one bit what color your skin is, whether or not you can be admitted to a college. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I don't know. Why does your race have anything to do with it? What, the people of color aren't smart enough? Is that, I mean, that's what all the left and the liberals and the Democrats are all whining about, is that people of color won't be able to get into these universities unless we have this affirmative action. I mean, how racist is that? They can't get in by merit. They can't get in just by how smart or amazing they are. They have to just get in because of their color. So just great. I mean, all the liberals, and they were whining about it. And the majority of people in this country said private colleges and universities should not be able to use race as a factor in admissions. Almost 70% of the country thinks that. And of course, Democrats, they can't abide that. They're 58-42, independents are 72-28, and then Republicans are 78-22. I don't understand why you would want to be only admitted by your color. That doesn't make any sense to me. But what do I know? So anyway, so that was great. So we had that. Affirmative action is gone. Also, student loans is now gone. The whole Bidenomics, the whole student for debt forgiveness crap that Biden was pushing, that basically was going to say, hey, just because you went to college and you took on all this debt because, you're 18, right? So let's kind of put these things together here, right? So an 18-year-old can go to college and not be old enough or mature enough to make the decision to take on a debt. That's just too much. That's too much. They're pressured, and all that debt should be forgiven. But a 4-year-old can choose their gender, right? That's the logic of how that works, right? So an 18-year-old who's, that's legal adult in the United States of America. 18 is, you're an adult. You do your own thing. You're by your, it's you. It's all on you, right? So they aren't responsible for their own debt that they've accrued going to these horrible colleges and universities being taught that America's awful. They're not all awful, maybe most of them. So they are not old enough or mature enough to decide, to take on that responsibility of that debt. But a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old can decide which gender they are because they're mature enough to do that. So how does that work then? How do those two work together? That one's mature enough and the other one isn't? I don't know. That is the question. I do not know. I don't understand it. But so the court ruled that the Biden administration's plan to wipe out more than $400 billion in student debt was not authorized by Congress, because Congress, not the president, is the one that can do that. They're the ones with the purse strings, not the president of the United States. And of course, Democrats are on the wrong side of history once again with this. It's kind of interesting. This is a New York Times article, but the country is split. Oh, I guess the average, if you average it out. Democrats are 73-27%. Independents 47-53. The Biden, see, when you talk about him, you can't get the words out. It's like an infection or something when you talk about him. So the Biden administration, there we go, overstepped its authority with the debt forgiveness. So it is 50-50. Democrats are 73% that they did not, and only 27% that they did. Whereas independents and Republicans are both the other way. So, just ridiculous. I'm not going to sit there and pay for your freaking college. No, sorry. Thank you. Come again. Go pay it yourself. You're an 18-year-old or older. Pay it yourself. I should not have to pay it as a taxpayer. No, sorry. Thank you. Do not come again. No soup for you. So then another decision, which is great and amazing, is that Of course, that student loans was 6-3. All the liberal judges said no. Anyway, the fourth thing that was great too is the court ruled 6-3 that a web designer has a First Amendment right to refuse to create sites for same-sex weddings despite a state law that prohibits discrimination based on sexual orientation. So once again, the Supreme Court made the right decision, and they stuck up for the right for freedom of religion and freedom of free speech instead, which are rights given to us by God in the Constitution, and who you decide to sleep with is not one of those rights or privileges. It's just who you decide. It has nothing to do with being right. So it was just great. So because there was, what it was, I don't know if anybody heard about it, but a web designer, I believe in Colorado, said, it went all the way to the Supreme Court, obviously, and she did not want to make a website for a same-sex marriage, same-sex wedding, because she was based on her religion, which is her right. I don't understand why, if it's like that baker too, that refused to make the cake based on his religious preferences as well, that they fought him to make them a cake. Go somewhere else to get your website done and your cake made. You shouldn't have to force somebody to make your cake just because it's who you decide to sleep with. That's not a right. Freedom of religion, freedom of free speech is a right. So just great, just amazing. Supreme Court for the win. So hopefully next year we can get presidency, or Doofus Face McGee will be gone. Oh, and I didn't even mention this. I don't think I mentioned this last week either, speaking of him. The lovely thing that they found at the White House, I did this on one of my TikToks, that's probably why, is that they found cocaine at the White House. So that's great. That's just amazing. We got cocaine at the White House, and of course, and nobody knows whose cocaine it was, even though there's a video that's been circulating where Biden and, Joe, Jill, Hunter, and then I don't know who else is up there. I'm guessing other family members. Hunter looks totally stoned or tweaked. He's like fidgeting with his hairs. He goes behind Jill and sniffs his finger. I don't know, it could be for a couple of reasons. I don't know. Won't get into that. But, so, everybody knows whose cocaine it was. I mean, come on. You think we're that stupid that we're like, oh, okay, we don't know whose cocaine it was, when there's like 5 million cameras in the most secure building in the country, and they can't figure out whose cocaine it was? Come on, give me a freaking break. I think we're just stupid, because that's who they are, and that's who their base is stupid. So, yeah, there was that, too. Cocaine at the White House. Just amazing. Oh, we've got a great president, don't we? Ladies and gentlemen, we got a great man in the office. Oh, then he also went to the beach. And it's been proven that he's been on vacation probably 40% of the time he's been president of the United States. So that's awesome. Let's see if I can pull it up here. There was a Babylon Bee thing that they said. Let's see, hold on. Let me pull. There we go. It was. Sorry, I'm looking it up on the phone. Oh, here we go. So, Biden went to the beach, and they wrote on their, this is their Instagram page, it says, police investigating corpse that washed up on the Delaware beach. And the picture is, there's a police line, do not cross tape they put on Joe, just lounging with his pasty white shirt, or skin and just he's just kind of laying back in his lawn chair. Oh, and the videos of him walking around the beach are just sad. Oh, it's just like what I said earlier with the, him being in England. Oh my gosh, this guy's just 81 million votes, people. 81 million votes. That's who we got. That's the guy we got. So, just great. Some great, amazing Supreme Court decisions. And it has been a year now that the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. Now, there is a video. Obviously, it'll be audio for this audience here. But if you have children or young adults, probably just a warning. I kind of hesitate to play this clip, but I believe as adults we should all hear it because this is what happens. This doctor used to be an abortion doctor, and he very detailed described the process of an abortion. I know this is a very sensitive topic, very polarizing topic, but I believe this, and being, as a conservative as I am very much pro-life, because who's going to protect the innocent unborn children if not us? So with that being said, warning, if you have children, maybe pause it for a bit and listen to this with just some adults. So here is what one of the doctors said let's see, this is from a year ago. This is Dr. Anthony Laventino. Probably said that wrong, but this is what he has to say, being a former abortion doctor. That didn't play the way.
I only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to get right to it.
Just a second.
Thank you, Chairman, and members of the committee. I only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to get right to it. Second trimester D&E abortions performed between roughly 14 and 24 weeks of gestation. Your patient today is 17 years old. She's 22 weeks pregnant. Her baby is the length of your hand plus a couple of inches. And she's been feeling her baby kick for the last several weeks. But she's asleep on an operating room table. You walk into that operating room scrubbed and gowned, and after removing laminaria, you introduce a suction catheter into the uterus. This is a 14 French suction catheter. If she were 12 weeks pregnant or less, basically the width of your hand or smaller, you could basically do the entire procedure with this. But babies this big don't fit through catheters this size. After suctioning the amniotic fluid out from around the baby, you introduce an instrument called the Sofer clamp. It's about 13 inches long. It's made of stainless steel. The business end of this clamp is about 2.5 inches long and 1/2 inch wide. There are rows of sharp teeth. This is a grasping instrument. When it gets a hold of something, it does not let go. A D&E procedure is a blind abortion, so picture yourself introducing this and grabbing anything you can blindly and pull, and I do mean hard, and out pops a leg about that big, which you put down on the table next to you. Reach in again, pull out an arm about the same length, which you put down on the table next to you, and use this instrument again and again to tear out the spine, the intestines, the heart, and lungs. Head on the baby that size is about the size of a large plum. Can't see it, but you pretty good idea you've got it if you've got your instrument around something and your fingers are spread about as far as they go. You know you did it right if you crush down on the instrument and white material runs out of the cervix. That was the baby's brains. Then you can pull out skull pieces. And you have a day like I had a lot of times. Sometimes a little face comes back and stares back at you.
Oh my
Congratulations. God. You just successfully performed a second trimester D&E abortion. You just affirmed her right to choose. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah. So, yep. Just taking a minute to kind of process what he just said. Just horrible. Just barbaric. I don't know, it just, but they continue to scream even a year later that it's their right to choose to kill an unborn innocent child. So there you go. But the court did some great work there in overturning that, so more states are going more towards pro-life and trying their best to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Still, I mean, abortions are still happening, unfortunately, but the numbers are going way down as a result of that. Now, also, sorry to kind of leave today on a bit of a downer, but it needs to be listened to and said. But one other thing is there's a movie, obviously it's controversial because the left hates it, and they're doing their damnedest to make sure that people do not go see it, called The Sound of Freedom. I have not seen it yet, but many of my friends and family members have seen it. It is a very humbling, it is a very sobering movie from what I've heard, and I'm planning on seeing it. What it is, and I did not realize that that they had made this movie 5 years ago, but nobody would pick it up to release it. Netflix, Amazon all said no. What it is a movie about, I'm sure you probably heard it by now with this podcast coming out. It is a movie about the sex trafficking of children around the world and just the horrendous stuff that these poor kids go through. The numbers are that there are more slaves today than there ever were during the founding of the country. So that's kind of humbling and sobering in that regard as well. So what this movie is this guy named Tim Ballard. He goes around and tries to save these children from all these horrible human traffickers and tries to save them from that absolutely horrid life of being trafficked around the world for all these evil people. And it is amazing how much the left, how much the media is against this. It is just astounding. Rolling Stone is against it. It's just very, very telling that if everybody is against it, why? Children are kind of off limits, right? I mean, that's kind of what that should just be universal. No matter what you think about the other politics and other policies, we can sit there and debate about the border. We can debate about taxes. We can debate about whatever else stupid policy that you want, that you can think of. But children should be left the hell alone. With the sexualization of children here this last, I've played many, many, many clips of what is going on with our children in schools and how they're sexualizing the crap out of them, to the absolute evil that is going out and just this human trafficking thing that is going out. And I'm getting, as I'm talking about, I'm getting really angry because that is one thing that you absolutely should just leave alone. Tim Ballard, the guy that went out to and save these children from all these horrible people, evil people, he had an interview with Jesse Waters from Fox News. So let's listen to that.
Why is the media hating this movie?
I can't understand it. The film was made, produced, written like 6 years ago, way before anyone heard the name QAnon. I still don't even know what QAnon is. In the meantime, they're trying to connect it to some conspiracy when, in fact, like you said, this is a true story. These are real kids. I mean, these kids are my friends. They're young adults now, the ones that were rescued. They're going to come out soon and tell their story. It's going to be very awkward when the mainstream media comes after these kids next. and accuses them of being part of some conspiracy when in fact they were rescued from a life of rape. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in the media, perhaps.
I mean, this publication says The Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms, and that it fetishizes the torture of its child victims. Is that what the movie does?
It absolutely does not do that. It tells a story based in truth. And, what I think is happening, Jesse, I think that the left and these media outlets, they don't want to have a discussion that this film is going to compel. A discussion about why 85,000 children showed up unaccompanied at the border and got released into the interior of a country that is the highest consuming country for child exploitation material on the planet. They don't want to talk about why these same publications are pushing an agenda to change the word pedophile to minor attracted persons in order to normalize sexual activity with children. I think that's what they're trying to avoid, and they know this film's going to shine a light on all of the things, all the atrocities happening to children, and so they have to discredit it by lying about it.
So what would their motivation be to discredit a movie that's trying to shine a spotlight onto atrocities committed against children?
Well, if the truth of human trafficking and child exploitation were to be brought to bear, brought to light, then they would have to have a debate, a discussion that they don't want to have about, again, these policies around sexualizing children or allowing children to consent at a young age to do anything and everything, which would eventually include being, identifying as an adult perhaps and having sex with pedophiles. I hunt pedophiles. I've been hunting them for 20 years, and they are watching this and they're salivating. They are happy that Rolling Stones and The Guardian are ripping on a movie that exposes them. So I don't like the fact that these media outlets are in fact wittingly or unwittingly running interference for human traffickers and pedophiles.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the movie yet, but now I want to see it because this thing made such a splash. Tim, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with the box office.
Yeah. So just evil people on this planet. There's some good. There are some good. I'm going to say that. But this crap, this sexualization of children has to stop. But it doesn't just stop there, that the media is going against this movie. What is also happening is that movie theaters across the country are having problems showing the movie. It's either, there's some people I found on TikTok that, and this is their experience. So let's listen to them.
So my fiance and I just watched the movie Sound of Freedom that exposes sex traffickers. And do you want to tell them what happened in the movie theater?
All right, AMC, I don't know what's going on here, but first off, the AC was out, like, when we went to watch the movie, and I'd seen someone else post something, too, that also saw it at an AMC, and their AC was out, and, like, as soon as we walked into the theater, it was hot as heck.
I literally brought a sweatshirt, and I was, like, sweating.
And then we realized, like, it took us a while to actually realize it, but they didn't turn the lights off.
They literally had the lights on.
They kept the lights on the entire movie.
Who does that?
Like,
They don't want you to see this movie.
they were trying to make it, like, not enjoyable.
No.
Like, they were trying to make it unenjoyable.
What do they think? We're just going to be like, oh, the lights are on, we're going to leave. Like, no. Go watch Sound of Freedom in theaters now.
So that's one couple. And there are many people that I have come across all over social media that are saying the same kind of thing, that this movie that portrays portrays Tim Ballard and him trying to rescue these poor children from the sex slaves is just being sabotaged, even at the freaking theaters. Just please go see this movie. I'm going to go see it. It will be difficult. But these poor children need our protection. That is our job as adults, to protect the innocent. So, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Just horrible awfulness. So great. We've got some great things coming from the Supreme Court. But please go see this movie. Tell these Hollywood a-holes that we're done with their disgusting, evil crap. So remember, look up on the socials. I am on Facebook, The Caden Eric Show, Twitter and True Social, The Caden Eric Show, and the new Common Sense Theater is on TikTok. And I do post the videos that I make on TikTok on my Twitter. So go check all that out. Have a laugh. Again, thank you so much for listening. And I will talk with you next week. Bye-bye.